What's up, YouTube, fellow citizens of the world? My name's Eric. Welcome to my little YouTube channel, America. Uh, I got an idea, and this is for my Washington people, my fellow Washingtonians. I got an idea that I don't know will work, but um, it's sort of a brainstorming uh, process that I want to go through with some of the people, maybe you. Maybe you can drop some suggestions or something in the comments down below. Anyway, the idea is how we might be able to fight back, I guess, against some of what's going on in the one sided legislature in Washington state. This is during our 2023-2024 legislative session. And what we're facing is a real big uphill battle. There's a lot of these bills that are being rammed through that gives a great deal of power to branches of our state government, takes away rights from law-abiding citizens, and brings about some social and ideological changes to our state government that a lot of us have a lot of trepidation about, particularly in when it comes to education and things that pertain to our children and how that's handled. Anyway, this all comes from my concern as a dad and what I perceive to be a real big problem 10 years down the road. There are problems immediately, of course. We're all faced with a lot of those obvious problems. But where I sort of look at is what's going to happen in the future for my children. And that's where this is sort of coming from. So, right off the bat, I wanted to let you know I'm not a politically savvy person. So, I could be totally wrong. I could miss a point. Maybe there's something else that I'm not thinking about. So, if you are, I encourage you to drop down in the comments, leave that information and tell me where I'm wrong, and we'll try and get back on track. But I'm trying to sort of fake my way through this, trying to figure out as I go, and I'm going to keep slogging away because my kids only have me, and that's why I'm here on this earth to do, is to make sure I'm fighting for them. Anyway, so the idea, the legislature. We have these committee hearings. Each bill, okay, may be assigned to a specific hearing in the legislature that occurs at different times throughout the week. And the legislature assigns these bills to this hearing according to sort of what they have to do with, I believe. In other words, if it's like a tax thing, it goes to like financial. If it's some sort of social thing or maybe a tribal thing, it'll go into the tribal committee and they deal with it. And that's how things are structured. Anyway, there's just a ton of bills that are being pushed through this year. I think it's like almost 1,300 last I counted, or close to. And it's just a lot to handle for any one person. But well, and there's a lot of really sexy bills like the gun control bills or like abortion stuff, those things. Those things get a lot of attention from the media and from the public and from the lobbyists and things like that. But there's also a lot of bills that just go through and they're really mundane, that maybe don't have a lot of sexy sound bites or any real inflammatory political repercussions. They're just sort of that mundane business stuff that they have to go through. So here's my idea. Okay. Those bills all have to go to a committee, right? And then they get talked about and they have a public hearing. And during that public hearing is your and my opportunity to tell them what we think about it. Now, a lot of these bills go in and they don't have anybody talking about them. In other words, they're just discussed according through the legislators sitting there, I believe, and there's not a lot of input from the public from them. But what we're missing, I think, is there's a time slot in there for each individual inside Washington. Okay. I get like 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is. You get 2 minutes or 3 minutes if you want it. All right. Sometimes it'll be less depending on if there's more people. But the point is it's there if we wanted to use it. Now, here's my idea. We all sign up. We load every mundane bill up with people who want to talk about it, and we use that time. We make those legislators sit there and listen to whatever it is we have to say about this bill. If it's good, if it's bad, if it's neutral, just burning out the time. And that makes sure that rather than them spending time passing garbage legislation, okay, they're having to listen to you. Okay, even if it's something mundane or has nothing to do with the actual bill we're trying to stop, it's burning up time. It's creating frustration. You're putting a wrench in the machine and slowing it down. All right, and that does two things. One, it burns that time. And then the other, which might be even more important, is it creates stress for them. And that's what we're after here, because we want that stress to be added a little bit of stress, a little poke, a little nudge. Each and every one of us doing it is going to add to that stress load. And when they're stressed out and they have to face these things and they're frustrated, they're going to make mistakes. And as those mistakes go into the bill or the bills, they can then be fought against later on in, say, a Supreme Court or something of that nature. But it's up to us to grind away at that time and create uh, those mistakes so that in the future we're armed so we can fight back against them in other ways. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an effective strategy, and it will take a lot of people. Okay, but if you have 2 hours on a Tuesday and there just so happens to be a committee hearing, just pick a bill on there or pick three bills on that committee hearing with nobody talking, and we just talk and we just give input and we burn up that 3 minutes and we take that meeting and we make sure it's stretched out so they can't use the time that we're not burning up for other things like passing the garbage legislation that we know they'll pass. So this is sort of like a form of attrition on our part in that they have a finite amount of time. They only have so many days of the legislature to do their business. And I don't know about you, but I'd really like it if they had less time so they would accomplish less, because I disagree with a lot of what they're trying to push through. And that's the key here. We're just trying to burn up time, create stress so they make mistakes. Okay. Imagine it like this. If you're in a race, okay, obviously we're not at the lead here. Okay. We're following that lead car. And if the lead car has that perfect line, okay, and it's got the perfect line on the track and it's making all the right decisions, you can't necessarily do a whole heck of a lot, okay? And you have to wait for something else to sort of occur so that you can take advantage of it. Now you got to get right up on that car's butt and you just got to push them and push them and push them. And then hopefully, okay, and it's not a guarantee, but you're going to add stress to that and you're going to make them burn their fuel and you're going to keep adding that stress. And so when they make a mistake, you can take advantage of it and gain the advantage. And that's all my idea is trying to do. So think about it. If you have a better idea, I'm all for it. But if we can all just load these meetings up, just grind away at the time. Okay, it's your right. There's nothing that says you can't do it. They have to have these hearings, all right, and they have to listen to you do it. And you have the opportunity, because you can do it online this year. That may not be a forever thing. You can burn 3 minutes, and that's 3 minutes that they don't get to do terrible things to our state down the road. Anyway, just an idea. I'd really like to hear your comments or your ideas on how we can come together and do this. Obviously, there's not a lot in our toolbox to do, but I think this might have something. Tell me what you think. Hope you're all having a great night. Talk to you later.